The new Qiyi Clock is not just a skin, they also made some changes to the puzzle, so is it better?
Maybe the most important aspect of a clock puzzle is its speed. And actually, the speed of the new Blue Qiyi Clock is actually a tad bit slower than on the standard one. I think we both agree on this, and that there is some extra friction to the turn, not necessarily in a bad way, but you more like feel the turns as you pull through them.
I first noticed this at work because I was lubricating a premium clock for the first time, the blue one, and I was going to make the fast edition. So when doing the premium services here at Cubos, we have a sheet where we know which lube to use and how much of it to use, and also just by experience. And when I added the normal amount of lube to make the fast clock, I was surprised to get a kind of medium fast feel.
After break-in, we noticed that the clock does in fact speed up again to a similar level of the standard one, but it's something to keep in mind. This puzzle is more on the stable side in terms of speed.
It's actually kind of fun because the design of the cogs is exactly the same, yet this puzzle does feel more stable. When using this for a while, it feels kind of like a normal clock, and then you go back to the old Qiyi Clock, and all of a sudden that one feels flexible in a way.
Agreed, and that's mainly due to the magnetization of this puzzle. They have internally inside of the puzzle moved some magnets around. There are extra magnets around the pins, but there are fewer magnets in the corners, for example, and that gives it a different magnetic feeling. It definitely affects the performance of the puzzle.
The most noticeable difference between the old version and the new blue version is the pins, and they are way stronger.
Some of you will certainly like this, but personally I'm not really a fan. I like the less resistant and less force needed to move pins around on the standard version. One of the main selling points of this puzzle was the fact that the difference in magnet strength depending on how many pins you had up was supposed to be more even on the new blue one compared to the standard one, and that is something that you notice, but not to the biggest extent.
One small gripe I have with this puzzle is that the 12 marking on the blue side is quite hard to see, which is also the case on the black version, so they actually had a good opportunity to fix this with this clock, but they still haven't. Of course, you'll get used to it, and if you are used to the black one, you won't have any problem switching, but if you're like me and used to a skin with a clear 12, this could be a bit of a problem.
So obviously we've tried this clock out quite a bit in the last few days, and when switching between them, I like the feeling of the blue clock, but the thing is that for some reason I just can't get the same times which I get on the standard one. Might be a break-in issue, but I do feel that the stronger pins and also the stronger magnetic clicks in just normal turning does affect me negatively in terms of solving speed. And this especially affects me when doing 7 simul solves, you know, the no flip method. For some reason I feel like I need the magnet strength in the pin to be weaker when doing these types of solves, because when I do the flip method, which has been the most popular and many of you use, I do feel that I have more control of the pins and that the stronger magnetic field isn't something that affects me when doing flip solves.
I personally also like the standard version more. I feel like the extra magnet strength just gives the puzzle more resistance, and I didn't feel like the magnet strength was too weak on the previous version. So if you already have the normal clock and you like it, I don't feel like you need to switch.
I agree. Obviously, if you don't have a Qiyi Clock, this is an awesome new clock. But even if you have the standard one, and if your main issues with the standard one is the weak magnet strength in the pins, or is the difference in resistance between the different moves depending on how many pins you have up, then this new clock will address those issues. So it will likely be the best one for you.
But in the end, these two versions are pretty much tied for the best clock on the market.